It is time for tonight's deep dive, and for that we bring in Kevin Danna, voice of the Santa Cruz Warriors, who also calls games for the big club. So Kevin's got a front row seat to the entire season and obviously locked in to these Dubs playoffs. Before we get to Curry, Kevin, just give me your initial impressions of what we saw in Game 1 last night.
I mean, obviously Curry's the big story, but just a really gritty win for Golden State, right? I mean, to hold another team below 90 points, especially a team that has as much offensive firepower as the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, they really had to work to get to 88 in that game. I mean, 31 first half points. The defensive performance was incredible. And how about out-rebounding a much bigger Timberwolves team by 10, 51-41? I was really impressed with that as well. Obviously, Steph's health is of the utmost concern for Golden State, but that was a game they had to have, especially with Steph going out. They got it, and they give themselves a chance in this series.
Yeah, utmost concern, I think, is putting it mildly. How big a problem is it? I mean, this is an obvious question, but they're not going to have him for at least a week now. I mean, you're talking about Game 2, Game 3, Game 4 probably, and maybe beyond that. Can the Warriors win this series if they don't get Steph back?
It's going to be a tough road to hoe, that's for sure. They were 9-3 in the playoffs in 2016 and 2018 without Steph. Now, the thing is, those 2016 and 2018 teams were pretty darn good. I mean, one of them had Kevin Durant on it. The other one was a 73-9 team. So this is not one of those teams. It would be really tough to do. And I think the goal for Golden State would be go 1-3 in these next four. If you can survive past May 14th, then you have 3 days off to May 18th. Get a Game 6 at home, down 3-2 with Steph Curry back. You really give yourselves a chance to win the series.
It's crazy to think that a team's goal would be to go 1-3 over the next four playoff games, but I think that's solid analysis. I think that may be where we are. And look, they have Jimmy Butler, who obviously has risen to the occasion. We all know about playoff Jimmy. And they have Draymond Green, who not only has the playoff and championship pedigree, but he has truly emerged as the heart and soul of this incarnation of the Warriors. What do you see from Draymond and all that he brings to the table?
I mean, starting off on the defensive end, what he's been able to do, especially against Alperen Şengün in Game 7, the final stop in Game 4, he's reminding you that he's an all-world, all-generational defender, and that it's a little unfortunate that he only has one Defensive Player of the Year. I thought he could have gotten it in 2015. I think that was the year. It was either 2015 or 2016 where he just lost out to Kawhi Leonard. I thought one of those could have been his year. I mean, that's incredible. And then, look, Draymond has not been historically a great three-point shooter, but he can get hot. He had a playoff game where he hit 8 threes against the Portland Trail Blazers 9 years ago. I mean, he had that one season where he was like 39% from three. He was in the high 30s last year from three. He started out this year plus 40 from three. So if he gets on a roll, he can get you a 4-3 half like he had last night against the Minnesota Timberwolves before he kind of cooled off in the second half. But it's more than just the shooting of threes for Draymond Green. He can run the offense. Yes, he's had some turnovers that you would like back, where Steve Kerr would probably say he's trying to hit a home run instead of hitting singles, which is where the Warriors want to live a little more. I think especially now with Stephen Curry out, you really want to kind of control possessions, limit possessions in the game, limit Minnesota's opportunities to have their offense explode. But I mean, he's a conductor of the offense. He orchestrates the defense. I mean, he is still everything to this team at 35 years old.
And Kev, since you are the voice of the Santa Cruz Warriors, you've had a lot of experience watching the development of some of the guys who are now rotational players at the NBA level. Specifically, a two-part question. Can Quentin Post be effective in this particular matchup? Because we've seen him be somewhat matchup dependent. And what about Pat Spencer channeling his inner Kareem last night? And what can he bring to the table now with Steph out?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Quentin Post can play a role in this series just because he is 7 feet tall and he can stretch the floor. And if he can give you a few minutes where he's pulling Rudy Gobert away from the basket, I think that can be value. I think the thing for Quentin Post is if he gets a sliver of daylight, he's got to let it rip, whether it goes in or not, just to kind of compromise their defense a little bit. And we know he can hit it. He's a very confident three-point shooter. So I do have faith that Quentin Post can make an impact in this series. And with respect to Pat Spencer, I will die on this hill, Mr. Scott Reiss. He can be in just about anybody's top 10 in a rotation in the NBA. He is a rotation NBA player. I thought coming into the season, he was a surefire, full roster contract, a standard NBA contract kind of guy. So your top 15. I think he could be a top 10 player, not in the NBA, but a top 10 player on a team's roster, to be like a general rotation player throughout the course of the regular season, because whenever he gets out there, he impacts winning. We saw it the first time he got real rotation minutes this year against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It was back right before Thanksgiving. The Warriors were getting pummeled by like 16 in the second quarter, and Steve just threw Pat Spencer out there, and he immediately made things happen. He just plays with such downhill force. He's a supreme athlete. He's physical. Draymond Green yesterday said he's one of the toughest players on the team. It's something I saw in Santa Cruz for sure. He was working his way through a few injuries. I mean, this guy can, I mean, he's what, 27, 28? I think he could play the next 7 to 8 years in the NBA.
Does the mustache help or hurt the cause?
Yeah, I'm kind of liking the playoff mustache. You know,
Okay.
like in hockey, they have the playoff beard. Pat didn't really have that mustache going in Santa Cruz. It's a different look. It kind of gives him a little bit more of a rugged look. Well, yeah, why not? Playoff stash Pat.
All right, fair enough. Kevin, great insight. Really great to have you on the show, and we'll all find out how it plays out starting tomorrow night.
Well, thank you, Scott.